Galair, and welcome to the Loaf of Bread GAA podcast, slicing into the GAA of the past, present and future. Join me, Jason Keelan, as we cut into the largest loaf of bread known to mankind. Hello, Diegwich, bonjour, ni hao, konnichiwa, guten tag and privyet to you all wherever you're listening in. What started as a message to 10 clubs has now expanded to more than 50 clubs globally from all continents. The journey through Loaf 2 GAA Global continues this week as we move on to our next destination in the GAA world. So come with me on the GAA journey of a lifetime and meet clubs from Canada to Argentina, South Africa to Gibraltar, Bermuda to the North Pole, New Zealand to Kuwait, Knoxville to Qatar, and literally everywhere in between. So grab the passports, grab the bags, it's time to go. On Slice 25, I make the transatlantic journey from the US to the UK and meet the gang from the different clubs representing Warwickshire Ladies GAA. I meet up with Mairead from the Kingdom, Caroline from Maharaclune and Monaghan, and the one and only legend of Mad Scone herself, Gemma, formerly of Mullingar Shamrocks and Westmeath. We chat all about Gemma's club swapping antics and her WhatsApp jokes getting lost, Mairead playing with the Kingdom underage, the growth and competitiveness within Warwickshire and much more, winning the Mary Quinn Cup, the emerging teams in Leicester, Birmingham and Coventry through youth setups, the geography of the GAA in Britain, Peter Leahy running from the airport to the pitch, Mairead robbing the nets, Caroline's Jagerbomb interview with Gemma, debuts against Cardiff, and the vital questions like who is Gemma's greatest footballer of all time? And don't miss the very special message from Gemma at the end. But first, as usual, let's take a trip through the county of Warwickshire in the UK and see what it has to offer us. Bon sultas. Today we land into Birmingham Airport in the heart of the English Midlands. Warwickshire is essentially a county, a shire being the old Germanic word for a place with a governor. Originally, the cities of Birmingham and Coventry were once part of the area, but boundary changes in 1974 saw them move to the West Midlands. Given its centrality, the county is bordered by many other known counties: Leicestershire, Staffordshire, Gloucestershire, Oxfordshire, Northamptonshire, and the one that's really hard to pronounce, Worcestershire. Historically, the region is known for coal, mining, textiles and cement production, but in recent times has moved away from the mass production of raw materials to light industry. But perhaps above all those is the fact that Warwickshire is central to the car production of the world. The main BMW plant outside of Germany is located in the north of the county. Jaguar and Aston Martin both also have their homes in the region. Add to that the growing modern aspect of gaming, and you have quite a profitable and developed region. But Warwickshire also has many sights and sounds to cover all aspects of the tourism trail. Today, places such as Stratford-upon-Avon, Nuneaton, Rugby and Roy Leamington Spa are perhaps the best known. Stratford-upon-Avon is home to one of the greatest literary figures in history in the great William Shakespeare, a man who wrote more than 200 pieces of work in his 52 years on earth. During that time, he married a lady named Anne Hathaway, not the famous actress of today clearly, but rather a woman of whom little is known other than the fact they married in the so-called shotgun wedding ceremony due to the fact that Anne was pregnant. Shakespeare, through his works, is responsible for a vast amount of language and vocabulary we use today. Everything from elbowing somebody to critic, bandit, lackluster, lonely and many more. In fact, such was his skill with words that today we can count clearly over 2,000 words and phrases brought to us by the great man.
Quoting Shakespeare, if you cannot understand my argument and declare it's Greek to me, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you claim to be more sinned against than sinning, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you recall your salad days, you're quoting Shakespeare. If you act more in sorrow than in anger, if your wish is father to the thought, if your lost property has vanished into thin air, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you've ever refused to budge an inch or suffered from green-eyed jealousy, if you've played fast and loose, if you've been tongue-tied, a tower of strength, hoodwinked or in a pickle, if you've knitted your brows, made a virtue of necessity, insisted on fair play, slept not one wink, stood on ceremony, danced attendance on your lord and master, laughed yourself into stitches, had short shrift, cold comfort, or too much of a good thing.
Many, of course, will be familiar with the horrors of having to study King Lear or Macbeth or others when all you really want to do is see them on stage and just enjoy them. Of course, if you are somebody called Mary Evans, you're probably a little annoyed at the unfortunate place of your birth. Mary Evans is better known by her pen name, George Eliot, who was also born in Warwickshire and often gets overlooked due to the fact it is known as Shakespeare country. Eliot wrote many famous and amazing works such as Silas Marner and Middlemarch, to name a few. Other famous names from the Warwickshire region include the likes of poet Philip Larkin, Frank Whittle, who invented the jet engine, and musician Nick Drake. Scottish-born chef Gordon Ramsay spent much of his life in the home village of Shakespeare, while actor Ben Daniels from House of Cards and director Ken Loach of The Wind That Shakes the Barley are both from Nuneaton. On the sporting side, there's only one place to start in Warwickshire. In 1823, as the story goes, a young pupil named William Webb Ellis from Lancashire was attending the rugby school in Warwickshire when, despite breaking the rules, he picked up a soccer ball and ran with it in his hands. As a result, the foundation of rugby as a game began. It was over 50 years later when a local historian, Matthew Bloxham, had the story published in a local newspaper with the details of Ellis's exploits. Nuneaton Borough would be perhaps one of the best known of the soccer teams in the county. Although the club operates in the 7th year of English football, they have a proud history, even coming back from the dead in the 1930s to reform again. They once counted legend George Best in their starting 11 for a friendly game, and in recent times have called upon Irish international from the 90s, Liam Daish, to be their manager. But like many lower league clubs, the possibility of a giant killing scalp in the FA Cup is often the great lure, and Nuneaton have achieved several, including beating Premier League sides Watford, Swansea, Stoke, and earning a draw with Premier League side at the time, Middlesbrough. Today they count player coach Leroy Lita among their stars, while in the past the names of Gary Charles and Tommy Wright have played for them. In terms of the GAA, Warwickshire has its own county board, which is run out of Park na HÉireann in Solihull in the area. This is also the home ground for Britain GAA. As a county, the hurlers have won 2 Lorimar Cups in recent times against Longford in 2013 and Leitrim in 2017. Incredibly, the county boasts 3 Junior All-Ireland hurling titles in 5 years in the 1960s and 70s, 2 National Hurling Leagues in the 2010s, and 4 All-Britain Junior Football titles are also part of the club's history. The county lists 25 club names, some of which are dual clubs ranging from the Roger Casements to the John Mitchells to Rugby Gales, but clearly the county is going from strength to strength, as is the way it seems with the British GAA scene in general, and long may it continue. Just one thing to note before you listen to the ladies. Gemma, who you'll hear, is a Westmeath head, the same as myself. While she has her own success stories at many levels, she is also the daughter of well-known manager Peter Leahy, who was in charge of the Mayo ladies team for 3 years before joining my neighbour Bernard Flynn at the Meath under-20 setup, which unfortunately ended recently in slightly unhappy circumstances for the men. Leahy achieved success with the ladies in getting them to an All-Ireland quarter-final in 2018, and then a semi-final in 2019, where they just lost out to Galway. Although off the field wasn't easy with Mayo ladies for Leahy, including having very little county board support, he certainly proved his worth and will no doubt be back in top jobs again soon. And so I'll let you find out more about Warwickshire LGFA with the ladies themselves. So let's have the chats and the crack with Caroline, Gemma and Mairead. Mairead?
How are things?
Not too bad. How are you getting on?
Good, good. I'm a bit early. I was testing my camera. It doesn't always work.
That's alright. That's grand. No bother. How's all out there anyway?
Oh, it's bloody miserable here. It's like
I
the
guess-
middle of winter. Bad.
Whereabouts in Kerry are you from?
Killarney, just outside Killarney, Kilcummin.
Oh yeah, no, it's it. I'll be down
Been
that
out
part.
of Ireland for about 20 years.
Is that how long is it?
Yeah.
What made you leave?
I came over here for nursing.
Alright.
Yeah, came over to study with the plan to go back home. I never did. As you do.
That's about, I'd say that must be about the 40th story that I've heard so far. I came out just for a week. I had a few pints in the pub. I met a fella who gave me a job, and I've been here since 1950. Yeah. Yeah.
About similar, met a fella, got married and stayed.
Oh, perfect. Yes. And where is he from?
Mauritius.
Oh, right. Nice part of the world.
It is nice.
My wife has been, no, I haven't been, but someday I will get to go, hopefully. So.
Very nice, very nice. There's a good population of Mauritius here in England.
Yeah. And what was it like? What's it like out there? You've been out there, I presume?
Been out numerous times. Yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's very like Ireland, very green, obviously, but it's way too hot for me to eat.
What about the tropical climate down in Killarney, though? Isn't it always tropical?
It's similar. It's a bit similar.
I know.
It's too hot, but it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I mean, it's really poor areas.
Yeah.
Really bad. Yeah. And then you've got the north, which is your more popular, destinations for holidays. So, but when I go, I live in the village, like with the in-laws.
Yeah.
It's a very different experience.
Yeah. You haven't got himself playing GAA yet, have you?
No, he doesn't play. All the kids play, but he doesn't. No.
No chance of roping him in, no. Put him in goals or something, no.
I need someone at home to mind the kids when I'm out all the time, so I haven't roped him in purpose.
Oh, you're happy enough, so yeah, I'll take that then. Yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm far too involved. I'm the secretary of the club here.
All right.
And I coach the under 13 boys, and I play with the ladies, and so I don't have time for him to be doing anything.
Jesus, yeah, fair enough. And when you say the club, then I know I was chatting to like Warwickshire as such, but is it like do you play by the county and its clubs? Yeah, the
Kerry,
county. Yeah.
The Dave Padraig is Leicester. We're the only one in Leicester, yeah. So Caroline then and Gemma coming on there, Coventry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, Gemma's from around these parts of the world.
She is. Gemma used to be one of ours.
All right. Touchy subject. I'll ask her when she comes on. So.
Yeah. Ask her. She used to be I think she still lives in Leicester,
All right, fair enough. I'll have to ask her. So yeah, I know her dad. All right.
He's well known.
Yeah, big involved. My brother plays at Rochester Bridge, and of course that's where the leagues are all from. And I think he used to coach them at some stage. So. What got you involved in the GA over there? Was it just something you brought from Kerry, or what was the Kerry career like?
Yeah, no, I played with under 16 Kerry ladies.
Where played you?
Gaelic, but I think it was just one day I was passing the grounds and saw it, and was thrilled.
Nice.
Like, GA, and that was about 13 years ago. Yeah. Oh. So just jumped in, started playing.
Yeah, what's your maiden name then before you got married, or?
O'Connor.
Oh sure, she's a proper Kerry name. You wouldn't be related to all the O'Connors who played in the past, would you?
Oh, of course. Whoever they are, all of them.
All of them, yeah, obviously.
We're all related.
We're all stars, exactly, yeah. How many all-stars have you under your belt?
I mean, Gooch now, I'd know him. He would have been in the year below me at school.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't know him very well, but I know who, I would have known him. But the old players, like, I would know well, Seamus, Moynihan and Clarkey and all them.
How are you, Caroline?
Oh, Jason, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad. I was only asking Mairead, are you hardly from the Midlands with a second name like Lamb, are you?
No, I'm a Monaghan woman.
Oh, God. Okay, right. Well, look, it's been good chatting to you anyway, Caroline. Take it easy, all right? Whereabouts in Monaghan are you from?
Well, now, the official answer when you're outside Monaghan is Carrickmacross. But if you're inside Monaghan, I'm a Maracloon woman.
Oh, Maracloon. Oh, very good, yes. Oh, yeah, sure. Know them all well, yes. Carrick and all right. A few Carrick people who went to college with. And Maracloon, I suppose got a name for itself recently. Oh, look who it is. You were just talking away that someone from Mullingar just pops up out of nowhere. Like, so.
Troublemaker.
How are you getting on, Gemma?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Sure, not too bad. I know with a link to Rochester Bridge is always a bit mental, so.
Oh, don't say that. Don't listen. My link is through my dad, but I'm a Mullingar Shamrocks woman, so don't get me in trouble.
Sure. So are my in-laws, sadly, and the chairman next door here probably has a few words to say as well. Shawnee is next door here, so.
Right. Don't be saying it's bad, mate. Listen, it's a good place to come from. I tell you that.
It's not the worst.
That's why she's there and not. Is that why you're over there?
Hey! I love my club here, but home is home.
Now you have to tell us, Jem, about your club over there, because Mairead is probably looking a bit suspicious in the corner. She had a few words to say before you came on, so
I knew that would come up.
We've already been on an hour, Jem. He knows everything.
You sure? So I was very fortunate to play alongside Mairead. And luckily I got a good few samosas and a great friendship out of it as well. But personal circumstances, I had a change of club, but was fortunate enough to play with two brilliant clubs. I now play with Casemans, so I've got two bunch of Irish lots here and there. So I've got double the luck.
Nice. And is Casemans then, is that the Leicester or Coventry or whereabouts?
Casemans is Coventry, and then you've got Leicester and Leicester. So I'm playing alongside Caroline. So I'm looking down my screen. I've got two colleagues there, ex players, but two great friends. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Oh, very good, yes.
So diplomatic.
I know. I've never seen her so diplomatic ever.
Hey,
good job. It's recorded, Mairead. We'll have it.
Positivity.
You have evidence, though. Exactly, yes. And Caroline, what brought you from Mahercloon over to England?
I was going to Australia, and I found myself living in England.
I'm not sure these things happen.
No, I know. One or the other. It's tale as old as time. The fella was over here this year's, and I ended up giving up and I moved over. He was no sign of him coming back to Ireland. So over I went. The first thing I did was join Casemans.
Sure, it had to be done, yes. And what was the GAA career like back home in Mahercloon before you left?
Well, I hadn't been living at home for about 10 years. I've been in Dublin. Right. So I actually hadn't played for years. Gave up now in my old age. I think I give up at the height of it all when I should have kept going. But playing with Mahercloon was brilliant though, because we were a senior ladies club.
Yeah.
So that experience was class. You don't appreciate what you have when you're younger, and I sound like such a middle-aged woman saying it, but it's so true. Yes, I am, Leahy. It's the running joke when you're racing against the 15-year-olds in shuttle sprints, and you go, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Dublin were you?
Rat Nines, general student in the area. I went to UCD. And
you were the other side of the world to me, so.
Yeah, back to Dublin then to work, and then over here. But you make a home where you are. And actually, it's funny. I would say I have more of a home here than I ever did in Dublin.
Nobody outside of Dublin misses Dublin. Stop it.
I don't miss it at all. Like it's mad. Like suppose I'm surrounded by shamrocks, fuckers here. It's just the problem, but there's not much.
So that's why you feel at home. Is that what it is? Yeah.
I feel at home because it's just surrounded by abuse. So it's like I never left. I played for the Downs when I was younger. Now I say played in inverted commas. It was the most unsuccessful career I'd say of any footballer ever. But I just loved the crack and it was brilliant. But you come home and like Barry Kelly is like down there, and the chairman of Shamrocks is next door, and you can't avoid them. Like it's a smell everywhere. Like, and then of course my sister-in-law.
Hey.
My sister-in-law played for them for years as well. So. She is in the GAA now full time. She's their insurance manager in Croke Park, so I can't get away from Shamrocks no matter what I do.
So no dodgy claims anymore then, yeah.
Only from Shamrocks people. That's all. There's no one else really, to be honest. So, and
listen, if we weren't found so much by them Downs lads, we'd be grand. Downs
lads never did anything wrong in their life. They don't know what you're on about. So
no, of course not.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Mairead, what I know you were telling me, but what brought you over there to England in the first place?
So I came over to do my nurse training 20 years ago. No plans to stay then either.
You don't look a bit of it now, I'm telling you. You look young.
She doesn't
look
as young as ever.
Either, does she?
Yeah, she doesn't know. No.
That Kerry glow.
And where did you do your training? Where was that?
De Montfort.
Where's that when it's at home?
Leicester. Yeah, De Montfort in Leicester. Yeah, it's actually gone now, I think. Yeah, it's been torn down where we trained. So I've been nursing over here ever since.
Fair enough. And would you prefer life over there? Would you rather go back to outside Killarney, Kilcummin?
I mean, outside of this pandemic, I used to go home every couple of months. The minute we had a holiday, we were gone. Or the parents used to come over; they were great. But it's been over nearly a year and a half. I can't believe it. I don't think it's ever been that long since I've been home. And of course, home is home, but you get used to this kind of way of life, and it's very different, you get used to kind of having your own space, because when you go home, everybody knows.
The campsite that is Ireland, of course, yeah.
Yeah, you can't go home and yeah. No, but I love going home. I miss home terribly, but I don't think I could move home. To be fair.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I suppose when
So
you're
easy
out there
to
long
go.
enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Flying home.
Wait, you know your family's going to be watching this, don't you?
I've only asked recently. I have already informed them.
Yeah. You can't get a man from Mauritius back to Kerry or play GAA out there, so you're not going to get back to Kerry, are you?
He would. He would, I can tell you. He loves going to Ireland. Because the life in Ireland and the life in Mauritius is very similar. It's very family orientated. You know, everyone's around and it's very relaxed. I mean, I'd say he'd move there quicker than I would.
Fair enough.
But especially, I think it's the GAA that is keeping me here, to be honest. Because we've a massive community, friendship, family with the GAA. We're so involved, all of us, really.
Kind of like the GAA at home, so yeah.
That goes by between the kids and the men's and the ladies and everything else. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, deadly. And Gemma, what dragged you out of Shamrocks?
I did a bit like Caroline. I moved for love, and sure that went to pop, but we won't say no more. But I moved after it was more. Yeah, I moved for an experience, thinking it'd be a year, and I'm here 10 years later. But I had to make sure we finished with Westmeath that year in 2011, and when we won,
Mary
and
Quinn.
I was like,
You win something.
That's it, yeah.
You win something.
Yeah, it's not like I mentioned it.
Well, in fairness, I'm going to back her up here and say that I hope every day of the week that she reminds you of it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. 2011 Mary Quinn Cup. Don't forget it.
It's on the wall. The jersey, signed jersey on the wall. They have no choice but to listen to it.
Good.
Listen, I tried to explain to them we had a book wrote about us, and I don't think they believed it, but there was a book wrote about the Westmeath women that won, so I'm famous in that sense.
I can back that up because Trina Murray was on the podcast recently, and she's the Leinster ladies president now, and she mentioned that she was all part of that setup. So yeah, I think has Gemma signed a jersey for you yet, or do you still have to get one off her?
She charges. I can't afford it.
Yeah. But luckily, all I do is I give discount to people I play with, and luckily I played for 2 clubs. Got loads of people over here get discount.
Happy days, yeah.
I'm so grateful to have her presence. That's all we need.
I can tell. I can tell the love is in the air already. Yeah. What's the membership or numbers like, Gemma, at the club at the moment?
Huge. So I think for both clubs, I watch even from both where they both came on. From when I joined Leicester, it was a smaller group, and I watched them develop. And I think I'm probably one of their biggest fans still. I still go out and watch them play, and I'll be shouting them on. Unless they're playing us, I have to be a little bit competitive. But with Casements, I watched Casements grow massively. Like, we've gone from having one team to now we have a junior and an intermediate squad. And I watch underage girls coming up, and it's so nice to see over here it becoming more like home. Like, you go home and it's expected that you have your underage, your 10s, your 12s, your 16s, because everybody plays. But to watch even young girls who have no Irish heritage at all come in and fall in love with the game is class. I can't tell you how many English girls we meet who have no Irish heritage in them at all, and they're like, oh, we're leaving. They call it football, we say soccer, but they're like, we're not playing none of that football. We prefer Gaelic, and the only thing they don't like is when we call it soccer. That goes down like a lead balloon. But it's lovely, and it's a growing club for both clubs. I speak on behalf of both. I watch them both grow, and it's so good to see. So good to see.
That's class. Yeah.
We're taking over.
I would have said, I would have said with the county hat on, it's kind of the same throughout Warwickshire, though, isn't it? And like, as Gemma's touching it there, like when you play football abroad, and you've had it in all your chats, Jason, as well. Like, if you can't get into the youth system and you can't get them up, you can't sustain it. Like, even I've seen it in my years here. Like in 2013, there was maybe 5 or 6 of us at training, and then come championship in the summer, all the Irish girls would go home, and you had no team again. Like, maybe you'd scrape one together for the league, and then they were gone. And it's part of what, with the Casements hat on, it's part of what has helped a lot is getting the youth coming up. But across the county, we've had it. Like, you've got St Finbarr's in Coventry, so we finally have another Coventry women's team now. They've just played their first game last Sunday and won it. For the romance of the fairy tale, I loved it.
Yeah, I love it.
But that's all come from youth teams. So they've been playing at all the underage for a good few years now, and they've finally managed to crack through with a senior team. And that's and there's a hope of a couple of other clubs doing the same as well. But
That's
I mean,
a good
we've
start.
got,
So yeah.
yeah, it is really good. Like you've got Sean McDermott's in Birmingham who are predominantly homegrown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And always have been. I think they're minority Irish players.
Right.
And then John Mitchell's in Birmingham as well. They're probably 60-40 homegrown as well, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
And like
what's the nationalities kind of like? I know.
Not as much as we would like. In Leicester, with our youth, we've just, to be fair, it has taken us in the last 2-3 years where we've dramatically changed our club. We've now got several underage teams. We've got our first under 16 ladies, girls coming through. So we've had massive changes in the last 2 years. I have poached a couple of my son's soccer players, and they're of. I think they're one boy is, and it's I think they're Pakistani background. So we're definitely trying to, especially Leicester, because the population in Leicester is predominantly Asian background. Okay. So it's really trying to, but it's so hard to get it because people don't see it. You don't see it on TV. You don't have a clue what it's about, and trying to explain it to people. You're saying it's a bit of rugby, a bit of basketball, a bit of football, so they don't visually see it. So I think at the moment what we're trying to do is get coaches into schools so they're seeing what it is and getting familiar with it. And then when you're mentioning it in Facebook and everything, they have an idea what you're actually talking about. And that's how you're going to develop it, because it's so hard. It's one thing English go, but it's another thing when people have never even seen anything to do with it. At least some people would have heard of some form of Irish football thing, but it is getting out there. It's definitely coming out there more, and I've definitely poaching a lot when I go to my son's soccer teams.
You haven't managed to get the likes of Jamie Vardy and them involved yet, no?
Oh God, no. Who wants it? They're soccer players.
Well, I will tell one story though. When we did, I don't know if Raid members this, we were playing for Leicester and we were down a player, and there was a girl watching on the sideline. It was an ex-England soccer player, friend of mine now, good girl, Rachel Williams was her name, and we were player down, and nobody would ask, and I was like, feck this. So I ran up and I was like, come here. We're a player down. I actually think it was against Casement, to be fair. We won't mention that. But I ran up and I was like, come here, will you play? And she went, what's the rules? I said, don't worry about the rules. Just get your boots on. And she was class, but she took about 10 steps. The ref had blown. She said, what was that for? And I said, that's rule number 1, 4 steps. She learned as she played, but that was probably the closest to a superstar we got on the pitch. She plays now for Tottenham Women.
Wow. Okay. So a proper star then. Yeah. That's So she probably only takes 4 steps now playing with Spurs. So
we like the soccer players. They're fast. They can run. Anyone who can run up the pitch, we'll have them.
Don't worry about the rules. The rules will come in time.
The rules will come after. Just run.
Mairead, you sound like someone who's playing sweeper.
Oh, as far up the pitch as I could go with the least amount of running is better for me now.
Okay, fair enough.
Mairead, tell them what you've never done in your life, though. What have you never done in your life? Go on.
I've never thrown a ball in my life.
Mairead has been blown that many times for throwing a ball, and her response is always the same. I've never thrown a ball in my life. And she's so angry when she says it. I love it. It's my favourite line.
That's brilliant. I love that one. Yeah, I have to remember that one. So that will be the tagline. I've never thrown the ball. Warwickshire, LGFA. Yeah.
I've never thrown a ball in my life.
Never thrown a ball in my life. I love it. Yes, Caroline.
I love it. Who would blow a Kerry person for throwing a ball? That's just a sin.
Well, I there's a lot of things I could say about that now, but I won't. So I keep that to myself. Caroline, what's the sponsorship situation like out in Warwickshire? Do you have surrounded by Irish pubs giving you money, or what's the crack?
No, it's definitely harder. It's pretty grim on the sponsorship level. There's no crack stories there, I'm afraid. Okay. It's really, really hard. Like this year as a county, we're not fielding a team. And we had a couple of chairperson a couple of years ago. He kind of revived it, and it's great when you have it. But this year after COVID and the county taking the hit, we don't have a major sponsor. It's very, very hard to keep it. It's kind of the same like what Mairead's touching on with the players. When you don't have it within the culture, there's not a want. Like where's the kind of the cool bits about being associated with a county team or a club? You get people within the club that'll help because they're involved. County, it's far harder. So this year we're not putting up a county team, unfortunately. It's also the travel. Like Britain's so different. So like 2 years ago, we had a good team as well, and we bonded. The crack was 90 that year. Like it really actually changed how the clubs interacted with each other. But you had to get on a bus to travel to Yorkshire. So you're gone
Right.
at 6 o'clock in the morning to play a game at 12, to play your game, to come back down the road again. And then it's over to London. Like, you only get really 2 games out of the
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
What's Yorkshire?
Yeah, like the
Leeds
club one can
Bradford,
be
is
quite
it?
similar. Yeah, Newcastle. It's football wise, counties don't make sense. You don't go by geography. There's GAA counties. Yeah.
Whoever's available.
Right. I didn't know that because I was like,
You're a
Newcastle
county. You're a county.
Yeah, Newcastle is Tyneside. I knew that. I know the
Yeah,
Yorkshire is like normally Leeds Bradford. So
when I first moved over, Warwickshire included Cardiff, in Wales.
right.
So that they were in our group. They played within Warwickshire, and then we had Gales, who are now in Gloucester, Hertfordshire, because that wasn't set up at the time. So even though they're technically Luton and London, they were Warwickshire. And then Glowhurst got set up, so Luton went back down to Glowhurst.
This sounds like amalgamating clubs here in Ireland, underage minor clubs, when you're like, right, there's lads 20 miles down the road that are pretty handy. We'll join in with them. Like, you know, that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
If there's somebody willing with a pair of boots, like, can you get 11 girls together? Right, you're a team. You're in this county.
If you can kick a ball, you're on the pitch. I started off as a goalkeeper. I'm full forward now. Don't know where that's happening.
The next step for you, so is
anywhere.
yeah. The next step for you, so Gemma, after goalkeeper forward, is onto the bench. I think you'll have to manage a team next. So,
listen, I all in good times. I'll take after my dad one day, but I'm definitely not as loud and Larry. So we'll get there one day.
Who's your dad?
Caroline. Now, do you want me to start revealing secrets? Because I won't be doing that. Yeah, I'll wish though fairly quickly.
Not loud and Larry.
I get a bit of slagging about my dad in a flirty way by certain members of my team.
He's a fine coach. We appreciate his skills.
I'm glad you said coach after. I didn't know where, because Gemma said flirty and then you went, he's a fine. And I went, where is this going?
her husband is going to be watching this podcast. That's why she's being tame, I tell you.
My husband's going to go, is she on with Peter Leahy again?
Yeah.
And how is, I suppose since you're on it, I won't spend long now, how is Peter Leahy getting on these days? What's his management style like these days?
He is now over on the men's side of things. He spent a long time with LGFA and he loves it. And I think probably the most frustrating thing for him is not getting the backing from maybe sort of county boards and onwards in terms of, for the women. He's a big fighter in terms of equal rights for women and men, and he doesn't see it. And he fought, and unfortunately they didn't get the All-Ireland at Mayo. He did out of us though, so it's all right. But I'll say nothing. Not that in case you didn't know, we won an All-Ireland at Westmeath. But he's now with the Meath under-21s lads, and he's he's enjoying it. As much as I hate him going over to Meath, it makes me feel it's like a rivalry. At least it's not Dublin. But he's doing some training with the lads now, and under-21s. He's done a bit with the seniors. Listen, as long as he's involved in Gaelic, he doesn't care. He just loves it. I mean, you'll hear him before you see him. Let's just say that. Yeah,
Bernard Flynn, I think, is involved with that as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think right now, because I'm here and I've not been home again, I actually read more about him than I hear from him. I actually didn't know he left Mayo, only I seen it in an article. And I rang him like, what's the story there? And he went, oh yeah, forgot to tell you that. So you probably know as much as I do. If it's in the papers, it's what I know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Barry Kelly lives there, like, just I can basically see his house. But Bernard Flynn lives around the corner. There's big, at the moment, the Lake Regale and TG Carroll was done on him recently. So there's big kind of lot of write-ups about him as well. But yeah, I remember him saying he was involved with the Meath underage. So I presume that's where Peter got dragged in as well. So
yeah, him, Bernard, and I think there's a couple others doing the under-21s. But that's his passion. He loves it, and Gaelic is very prominent in our house. That's all we talk about. So
yeah, I gathered that. All right, yes. I have to ask as well, actually, Mairead, well, I think of it, just I'm looking out here at a green area. What's the pitch situation like for you? Have you got your own space, or are you renting off local councils, or
nothing else? Leicester have one of the best pitches in the county.
Right.
It is. We're very lucky. We've a fine pitch, fine setup in Leicester. Yeah, lovely. And I'm so lucky. It's just down the road from me.
It is.
Literally. So it's great. Yeah. No, we've got a local centre. It's called the Emerald Centre, where which is it's not the clubhouse per se, but we are part of it, and they do a lot of work as well with the Irish community here, with the elderly Irish community. So we kind of just amalgamate between the club and the centre, and so it's brilliant. But we've a fine setup. We just need some new netting we're looking for now. around the pitch.
You want to start going selling tickets at the bar, I think, the Club Lotto tickets.
Or the selling fair. The quotes I've been getting, you're not to be selling kidneys.
Right. Well, that's option B then. We'll go with option B. So.
I was down playing we were down playing a match in Birmingham there the last night. I was nearly trying to climb up and take the netting.
Fine, Kerry woman.
Gemma, when is she doing her commentary? We will make sure they're locked up.
You have to keep an eye out for any missing nets in Britain, so we know where they're gone. At least we've sorted that one. So yeah, Caroline? What's a good night out in the pubs like over there with the Irish contingent?
It'd be better if I could remember the half of them. I did get told before I came on here I wasn't allowed any Jaeger bombs.
Okay.
Telling that story, go on, Car.
The 25th anniversary.
You've started, so you might as well finish.
Yeah, Casements recently had the 25th anniversary of the ladies' team, and we didn't want to let it go past. We thought we'd be able to do it in person. So we didn't want to let it go past, so we arranged an online event, and it was Zoom, and we put months of effort into it all, and it was great crack. And we had a lot of work to do on the evening, myself and the PRO of the club. We were kind of running the social side of it, and we were having a wee sup there and enjoying it all. And I had to do one wee interview, or so I thought. That was grand. Had a crack with one of our managers from when I started. Let go. A few Jaeger bombs in, few bottles of Prosecco in, forgetting completely at this stage that it was Zoom and everybody could see us too. And then I got the text on the group that I still had one more interview to do.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so I wasn't.
Who was that with?
Yeah? I wasn't. It was with Gemma. Oh, genuinely couldn't have told you there for a second. It was you, Gemma.
Yeah, only you text me and went, I'm doing your interview and I'm pissed and I don't think I knew I was meant to do it. And I was like, right, okay. And I was watching her because we had all these minis. It was like 30, 40 of us, and I could just see her necking these Jaeger bombs. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
We did have a moment.
Who was the interview with?
Get your name out, or was it your dad's name?
With me. Was it me? She interviewed me.
Brilliant. Right.
But it was grand. But yeah, nights out are great. We our pitch is part of a soccer club, so we don't have anywhere particularly like Mairead would have at Leicester. But the Sphinx has held many a family night and different club nights. But then we'd always go in. I mean, you normally end up in somewhere like the Four Ps or the Hersel, or I mean, if there's a bit of a sing song in somebody's house at the end of it, I mean, you might as well be at home sometimes.
Yeah,
kind of the way of it. It ends up exactly like you would when you're at home.
And what's the karaoke song of choice then?
Oh, it could be anything now, to be fair.
She'd have to remember first.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Someone needs to write down some of the songs and give them to her on a piece of paper, I think.
No, we need somebody like Maeve Stenson. We have a few singers in the club.
Okay, well, speaking of that then, so I'll ask, since there's two clubs on, one of the questions I always ask, and Gemma, maybe you can answer first, is every club has at least one traditional Irish lunatic on or off the pitch. So who's and Caroline's already pointed down.
I unfortunately, I think it might be me. I'm usually the loud idiot in the group that when it's quiet, I can't cope with it. So I'm like, right, say something stupid and make everyone laugh, even if it makes a tit out of myself. So considering Caroline pointing to me, I'm presuming that's what you're trying to say. It's probably me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Gemma's the one that's guaranteed to get the crack going on the dullest of training evenings or the maddest of nights anyway. But also then in the WhatsApp group, somebody will get photoshopped onto the most ridiculous thing and it'll be sending in, and any new girl that ever gets introduced to the WhatsApp group, everybody else is going, welcome to the club, how are you, come in, join us, we'll see you at the next training. And Leahy's putting in some really inappropriate picture.
She is from Mullingar Shamrocks after all, so.
Hey, listen, let's not give Shamrocks a bad name. We're great crack. So
I know you are, yeah, I do know that, in fairness, yeah. What were you putting in the group then? Go on, you're about to tell us.
Oh, there was one girl, lovely girl, her name was Rona. She joined there a couple of months ago and it was during the pandemic, and she put in, hi, everyone please welcome Rona. And,
I see where this is going, yeah.
I put a picture of a person in a mask putting loads of spray out, and I was like, welcome to the team, and nobody responded. And I thought, have I gone too far here? And then everybody after was like, Gemma, that's a bit inappropriate. But I sometimes say things that could get me in trouble. Like, there's a young girl plays for us, her name's Fina, and she fell on the floor during training, and instantly I went, Shayna Fina fall. And she's English, so it went over her head, and it looked like I was just laughing at her falling. Everyone else got it.
We really enjoyed it.
Okay, fair enough. At least you enjoyed it. Yeah. Mairead is dying in the corner here, so
We got rid of our clown, so we're all right. We're fine now.
Thanks for that, Mairead.
that's pretty good.
We're a pretty decent club now. None of that goes.
Fair enough. Yeah. Very upstanding club, I'm guessing now, is it?
I mean, look at me.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Says the woman is trying to rob the nets in Birmingham. Don't give me that.
Yeah, there's nets going missing everywhere. Oh, she's driving there. Oh, wow. That's the screenshot I'm using for this podcast. I'm using that as a screenshot, yeah.
You got some Warwickshire by throwing balls and robbing nets.
Yeah, Warwickshire's just... Yeah, Warwickshire's got
a down. Anyway, I'm just reusing.
You just went up to make sure they were taken down. That was all.
I'm helping, as always.
Yes, helping the community, obviously, yeah. And who, Mairead, then is the lunatic up in your end, then? There's raised eyebrows on the rest of the screen here.
I'd be looking to censor would probably be Liz.
Yeah.
What's her story?
Liz is just a bit of a joker, and she could just say anything. So she'd be our censor, I'd say. But I don't know, to be honest. They're all fairly settled, to be fair.
Right.
Opposite of case.
Like I said, we got rid of the one.
I left. But when I come and support you, I'll still be your lunatic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've lost that anyway. So yeah, that's fair to say. Is there what you say is what would the rivalry be like in general between the clubs of Warwickshire then? No one wants to
left on the pitch. That's what we always say. Leave it on the pitch. Yeah, you I mean.
I mean, myself and Mairead are normally marked each other. Me and Mairead think a lot of each other, and we mark each other, so it really is left on the pitch.
Okay.
To be fair, there's good rivalries. Like there is a bit of a divide at the minute in within the county. I think, like there's Casements and Mitchells who are kind of competing at a bit of a different level. And then there's other teams, but some of them are really coming up fast and hard behind. It's kind of hard to say. It's yet another thing that kind of comes down with having football over here, really, isn't it? How quickly teams can go down, as well as how quickly they can come up.
Is the Casements and Mitchells like Dublin Kerry type job, or that kind of standard? Or
they'd have a good standard, Casements and Mitchells, for fair. And to be fair, you have a high population of Irish girls coming over, whereas even, we'll say in Leicester, predominantly ours wouldn't be Gaelic footballers. I mean, a handful if you're lucky. Even the girls who've come over from Ireland, I mean, for goodness sake, we only get the ones that come over that have never played football in their life. I mean, what are the chances?
Yeah, but Mairead,
so it is.
They're all nurses, so if you've got an issue, you're sorted.
It's no good to be on the pitch. I'm a nurse. So it is a case of that. I mean, Coventry do get a lot of Irish coming over, don't you? And that helps massively because this is a sport for sure that you can't. It's difficult to pick up later in life. You can clearly pick out, especially in the men's team, who's not a Gaelic footballer. The way the hand pass a ball or try and solo up the pitch, you can see that they've never played it. And it's a difficult sport to pick up late in life. So that's why, you really want to start teaching them here, the homegrown ones at a younger age, to pick up those skills.
Yeah, and it's funny for me and Mairead as well, though, because our kids now play it too. Like my wee one's now in under sevens.
Wow. So that's the future then.
It's really nice. And like across Casements, there's probably 5 or 6 of us now on the team that all our kids are now playing together.
Wow, that's pretty class. Yeah, because there's like some clubs I've met who a junior setup is beyond them. Like some of them I've chatted to can't actually field the team anymore. Like they're basically, we've come up with a solution for that where they go to the airport with a crate of beer and a football or a hurl, and they exchange it for the departure ticket with the person. And that's the new recruitment policy we have at the moment. But he certainly, the only other one I know that I've chatted to so far, lads down in Australia have like what they call the grasshoppers section for the younger ones. So I think you're kind of the only other ones really at the moment in the world that I've chatted to that actually have a a full kind of youth setup on the go. So it obviously is, I suppose, testament to what you're doing, and long may it continue, I suppose. So
Yeah, I mean, last weekend or the weekend before, we were down in Coventry with the youth, and we had under 13s, under 9s, and there was 4 teams like down there of all these age groups. And now in the 5th of June here in Leicester, we're doing a big one. I think they were talking about 60 kids coming down from Manchester, Warwickshire. So there's a massive youth development going on here, and we've got the CDA who's over from Kerry. Wow. I mean, they can't do it without us. What can I say?
Wow.
But no, it's brilliant.
Mute her.
Yeah.
Mute her.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Marie has left the chat.
We help where we can.
As a county, though, the underage, the youth girls is really strong. Like there's like we've had representatives go up to Fela. They go home, like they travel home a lot to play. And they go to the ABCs in London. Like there's a really, really busy, vibrant youth scene over in Britain, and it will be the sustainability of the sport in the country.
Yeah,
like it's the only way it can keep going.
Yeah. So when they grow up, then who I suppose maybe Gemma Fasky now rather than the youths, who would you bring the club over to Ireland? Who do you fancy your chances against?
That's a really tough question. Like we had a really not necessarily last year, but the year before, we had a really good year at junior. We won the All Britain Junior, and then played a team from Europe, and then we played the junior All Ireland semi-finalists. Now we got a decent. We had a decent game, but we got beaten. But like we
ended up
winning.
Just a bit.
They won the Junior All Ireland, and we played them in the semi-finals. So, right. I mean, we got a couple of points. But we got. I wouldn't say we're at that level in terms of if we were home, but we'd beat a decent junior team, like, which is I think is remarkable in itself because when I moved here first, I didn't play Gaelic at all. I didn't even know it existed. Oh, it's my doorbell. We'll hang this up.
Come in, whoever it is. Bring them in for the crack.
Come on in. Come in for some poor DPD guys going, here's your parcel. I moved here first. I didn't even know Gaelic football existed over here. So to come on and watch all the teams like Leicester and watch Mitchells and all these other teams become big. I think most teams over here now could compete really well with junior teams back home. Yes,
and Warwickshire, the men's, of course, were beaten by Leitrim, I remember, in the hurling because Zach Maradi was on talking about that. So, like, there's definitely potential over there. You've some setup by the sounds of it. I didn't realise it was such a strong setup. Supposed to have a Westmeath woman at the heart of it all. You can't really go wrong, can you?
Yeah, I just need a few more clubs I need to go to now, and then we'll all be sorted.
Yeah, you just make your way around all the clubs.
Mairead, I'm joking.
Having a fit up in the corner here now at the moment. So
like a lead balloon.
Yeah. Have you?
I was more thinking about the damage we do to you if we ever played against you.
Well, geez, I already have that when I play Mairead. They burst me a lot of them.
You don't need it against us too, because Gemma, that would be me having to mark you then as well. Can afford?
Listen, I'm a goalkeeper. I catch and kick. That's it.
Fair enough. Yeah. What have you done your homework over there? Because I ask all the clubs. There's a few questions at the end. I ask all the clubs. Have you done your homework introducing the English to Father Ted, even though it was originally on Channel 4?
To be honest with you, I think they probably already know. Probably know more than we do. To be honest, like I think that's probably between that and Mrs. Brown's boys. I think that's what they think Ireland is. They're not far wrong, but it's quite funny. We had me and Caroline had this conversation earlier. I think. It took a while for English people to get our crack that when we take the piss out of each other, it means we like each other.
Yeah.
And now you can sort of see that blending together between like the English lot and the Irish lot. But you know what I mean? You can't beat our crack. I think slowly but surely they'll learn it. But yeah, you can't beat the crack of the Irish over here.
Yeah, the great phrase of "I will," which means no. They don't get that at all. I will.
And they're still waiting now for us to do it.
And you haven't done it yet. I wonder what's the story going on there. So I've one other kind of one other question. I'll throw the three of you kind of one by one, and then there's a few Warwickshire themed questions at the end. Don't worry, it's not a test or anything. Well, it mightn't be. We'll see. The best GAA player ever in your lifetime, who would you pick?
Ladies, ooh.
Doesn't it could be anybody, it doesn't matter.
Over here, like.
Yeah. Well, no, it could be just in your life, could be from Kerry, anywhere in Ireland, anywhere in England, doesn't matter. You can pick Desi Dolan, that's fine. He hasn't come up yet, but I'm waiting for that moment.
Did you say ladies though, or
no?
or
It could be anybody. Doesn't matter.
Oh
Really,
my God,
really.
that's a hard one.
Not putting you on the spot now. You see, Caroline and Gemma have the advantage now because they're thinking in the corner like, who the fuck am I going to say?
I mean, geez, I don't know.
Want me to jump in and give you a minute?
Yeah, go on, Caroline. You can go for it. So yeah.
Just because for women, it's funny. The first person that enters my head is Edel Byrne, who was a Maritime woman.
Right.
She was on the Monaghan Senior panel for years, and it irritates me as a compliment, but at the same time, you can see it where everybody used to always say it where she'd walk on to a man's team.
Right.
So I was like,
okay.
But she was, so as she was like a couple of years older than me, so I really looked up to her in the club. But just as a player, she was really tall. She'd burst through you, scored from everywhere. She could put a goal in to a crowded line, like crowded net. She was one of the best forwards I ever saw playing. I think she was ended a bit too early with knee injuries, like, but oh my God, her and Niamh Kinlan. Well, Maritime was very lucky. We had a lot of players who always played Monaghan Seniors, and back in the day, like 97, over that period where we won the All Ireland a lot, like a lot of our club were part of it. But Edel Byrne for me, definitely.
Niamh Kinlan's name I recognise. Edel Byrne, is that who you said? I don't recognise her name at all.
On Niamh.
Right, yeah, Niamh, I know, yeah.
She's brilliant. She's lovely. I mean, modern player would be someone like Amy Mackin. I mean,
yeah.
As a defender, you never want to go anywhere near her, but I mean, to watch her, like.
And it doesn't matter picking an Armagh woman now.
Look, I think living over here gets rid of some of that to a little.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've talked about county boundaries here.
Yeah, they don't exist. Cardiff is in Warwickshire apparently, and Newcastle is suddenly in Yorkshire.
Look, if you're driving for a game, and technically you're going to a new country when you go to Wales, but it's in Warwickshire. My very first game over here was driving to Wales. I had no idea what was going on.
Okay, I might ask you about that actually while you're on it. What was the debut like? Because Mairead will need another couple hours to think there in the corner. So.
There's so many to pick from.
What she's doing is she's Googling, is there players outside of Kerry?
I can see her, yeah.
There isn't!
That's brilliant. Sorry, Carla, do you remember the debut over in Cardiff? I presume then, was it?
I do, yeah, because it was typical Casements of the time. It was a thrown together team where, I mean, I came over very much with the mentality of home. Like I played football for UCD as well. So like, even though I hadn't played for 10 years, it was quite structured, regimented. And it took me a long time to get out of it here, where I'd turn up 20 minutes before training. I'd have the boots on. I was ready to go and wondering where everybody was 10 minutes past the training time. So we've come a long way now, where we now have to be there 15 minutes early and all the rest of it. But that day I got dropped off up where the bus was going, really nervous. I'd only met the girls a few times. Was already kind of going, can I even still play this game? So I remember how to do everything, and got up into the bus then, and very quickly realised what the day would be like when we drove from student uni house to student uni house to see who was remotely sober enough to play. And one of our girls went in and dragged out another one of the players, still with a bottle of beer in her hand, like 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and I was like, oh, this is the crack over here, okay. And went up, played the game, we won, and then they took us to an Irish bar in Cardiff, food, few drinks, crates in the bus on the way home, and then back to the rehearsal for sing song. And I went, I like it here. I can play this.
It's not like Banty McEnany kind of setup, no.
Well, that's controversial at the minute. Anyway, he doesn't exactly follow the rules.
His band is up. His band is up at this stage. He'd be grand. So.
But it's hard to forget that debut, even with the drinking that went on.
It's brilliant. Gemma, do you have a favourite player, and can you remember your debut for either club? I suppose.
God, you're really stirring the pot here. You are. I mean, as a Westmeath woman, we didn't have many players to look up to, so. If we're going for men, it'll probably be Desi Dolan. Although the Buddha, Mangan would kill me for that, but you can't really look up to Buddha because he's so bloody short.
He's his own podcast going now at the moment as well. So.
Oh, listen, say nothing. But I'd say for me, one of the players I looked up to massively for years and years and years was Laura Walsh for Westmeath Women.
Yeah.
I remember joining the Westmeath senior team at 16, and she was one of them players that she was so good, it was almost intimidating to be in her presence, because she was just and I was fortunate enough to play with her for 5 years and watched her, the video she did with I think it was with the LGFA after her leaving, and she was just class. Like, she was just dedicated to the game. As Caroline said, backhand, the compliment, you'd walk onto a man's team. She was just incredible, and just a real driver in the women's game, and yeah, class. She tops Desi, so I'm sorry, but give her that.
That's fine. That's
but
all right.
Westmeath all the same.
All the way, absolutely. Yeah. Do you remember your debut for Club Number One?
Club Number One, absolutely. That would be casement. Number one.
Club Number One. He said it.
Stop fighting over me, ladies. Stop it, please.
I love you. Club Number One.
When was my debut for Leicester? Do you know what? There's a lot of them that kind of blur into each other, but they were all, no matter what happened, win, lose or draw. We won't say more, but we always had fun. I think the thing I enjoyed most about coming to Leicester, I'd come from 2011 and playing at Westmeath. I stopped playing for years. I didn't play for years over here, and I was so nervous to join a club. And it was just such a fun atmosphere. I just remember just laughing. Like, the girls were just incredible. And like Mairead will tell you, we still have a group, a lot of us now, we chat and we'll meet up, and Mairead makes the best samosas. And I just remember just being fun. And I remember the first time in life, a bit like Caroline, going from being in a regiment to like, oh, you can just relax and there's no pressure. And it was, geez, I think they stuck me in midfield while I nearly died.
Anyone who's new is midfield.
Yeah. Can you play? And I said, yeah, I'm a goalkeeper, have been for the last 15 years. They were like, right, midfield. But and my first game for casement, my memory's awful. All the games kind of blend into one, but again, a very similar thing. I think I was stuck definitely up in the forwards, I wasn't in goals, I'll tell you that for free. But again, a very similar experience. It was just fun. You go onto the pitch laughing, you leave the pitch laughing. There's still that competitive edge, but not like it was at home. It's probably becoming more competitive and becoming more like a competitive sport than it was when I first joined. When I first joined, it was all about the crack and having a laugh, and now all of a sudden we're turning up the games going, we're bloody going to win this. But yeah, from both clubs, before you get me in trouble, both very similar experiences in a great atmosphere. And for the first time from moving here in 2011, like 6 years on, it was the first time it felt like home ever. Living over here was part of the Gaelic club.
That's nice, yeah. That's definitely a good sign for the club then as well. So, and Mairead, you've had long enough now to Google who's the best GAA player.
The whole Kerry team ever. I think growing up, I didn't really follow much of the ladies' football, to be honest. It just wasn't a thing. I for me, growing up, it was always Maurice Fitzgerald. He was just, I know it's surprising, but it was always Maurice Fitzgerald was the one that I just loved to watch play. But ladies football wasn't a big thing for us in Kerry. When I was growing up, I didn't watch any ladies football. It wasn't, anyway, to be fair. It wasn't, I mean, I played under 16s with the Kerry team, but we were hardly known, to be fair. Like, no one really existed. And then I didn't play for a long time until I came over here again. But like Gemma was saying with the crack, I mean, we've been abroad. We've been to Rome, myself and Gemma, with the Leicester team.
Wow.
And Berlin.
Amazing. And we've been Madrid, you've been Barcelona. Girls went Berlin, didn't they? Some of us were pregnant playing. All the things we did. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember my first game at all here. I don't. I do remember those moments being away, and we really have had fantastic times as a team, and it really is. I know the new girls that join now when they come over, they really do see it as their life, their social, the connection for friendship, and especially for me, it's home away from home. All these Irish people that you can just, and for my kids, like I said, my husband, they're Mauritian, so there's that pull. It's trying to get that Irish connection into them, and I do that through the GAA, and it's great.
What was the Italian adventure? What was that for?
Yeah, Rome. That was some crack. And she wasn't like for the party.
Were you pregnant? It was Rome you were pregnant, wasn't it? I remember, I never forget, Mairead turned around to the players and going, just try not to hit me too hard because I am pregnant. Well, they were so scared.
Wow.
One way to make sure a defender doesn't tackle you.
Well, they didn't care. I was actually towards the end of the game. To be fair, I played for most of them before telling anyone. I told the ref, and he was like, "Are you really?" I was like, "Yeah."
Jesus, that is. I'm probably out there like a tournament against Italian teams or what?
Just fun, yeah. There's teams. There's Gaelic teams all over the world. To be fair.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I found a few that I never thought even. I've been to the country and I didn't even know they existed out there. Like there's the ones in Italy haven't responded yet. They're actually probably the only European country that I haven't actually heard back from. Funnily enough, but I know there's a Lazio team and there's a few others, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So if you know anyone out there, just tell them to.
Dubai. They all have teams. Berlin.
Oh no! Dubai and Berlin are big fish compared to some of the places I've uncovered. That some place I've been in my life, I was like, I wonder is there actually a GAA team out there? And sure enough, yeah, there is. There's
an Irish person. There's a GAA team.
There's an Irish person out there. There's a GAA team. I had the smallest GAA club in the world on this morning before you guys. Hyundai Gales in China. Wow. Smallest GAA club in the world by a good bit, and then after them I had Orlando on. As well, and Jimmy Flaherty from Caharua in Galway. But the two best crests I've ever seen, I think, in the GA I had on this morning. Hyundai Gales is Hyundai is the little village where Bruce Lee is from. So it's Bruce Lee kicking the Celtic cross on the crest, and then Orlando is the Disney castle with a GA ball and a Harry Potter style schlitter. It's the most honestly, you should go on and have a look at them after, like they're the most outrageous things ever. But like this is the kind of stuff you uncover, like, and then uncover E3 lunatics like in the middle of England. So like, you know, it's, you know, you have both ends of the scale, you know. You know how it works. So.
Yeah, love you've shoved us down the bottom.
I'm just glad you picked people from both teams I played for just to make this a little bit more, you know, now, controversial.
I had no saying in that whatsoever. I was just like, I just heard Gemma Lee's coming on, and I went, I know Gemma Lee is. Hang on now. I said, there's someone Mulligar coming on here. I said, I have no say in this whatsoever. I'm not taking any responsibility for anything that happens here. So
you asked for the shite talkers. So I
said, give us your best shite talkers. Yeah, and then they said Gemma Lee, and I went, well, shite talker number one apparently. So yeah, that'll do great. And the last couple of things I have to ask actually are the Warwickshire team questions. Now these could be, given that you've redrawn the county boundaries, these could be a bag of shite, but we'll try it anyway. And they're totally stupid because all I did was I looked up Warwickshire essentially to look up famous people and what the crack is in Warwickshire. And you mightn't have any interest in these anyway, but I'm going to ask you for the crack anyway. So they're totally stupid questions. So no, I don't. That's the way I do it. You'll see how stupid they are in a minute. So say, Gemma, you can go first. So you have a choice between the great Warwickshire soccer clubs, Solihull Moors or Athlone Town.
Oh, I'm going to have to go Athlone Town.
I'm a Sligo.
I mean, I went to college in Athlone, so I hope I know something.
Yeah, we'll take Athlone Town, so is the answer to that one, yeah. Now this one, you can correct me if I'm wrong in this one, but Mairead, Park na Heron, apparently that's in Warwickshire.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a good game down in Killarney.
Good game down in Killarney.
As she says with her arms folded as if like Celtic Kerry football, yeah. Love it, yeah.
To be fair, we should say Park na Heron is all right. Like it's got its own microclimate. It should be studied by geologists.
It
used to have fine nets.
There's a fine net at the moment.
Yeah,
and every now and again you get to watch the flights that are coming in from home because it's right beside the airport. So
I get to touch the plane. I might watch it. Your dad ran from the airport, landed, ran to the pitch.
Yeah, he did. My dad came to watch. When was that? What he
came to watch
He landed in. It was one of our finals, and this shows again. Actually, that's a good story because it shows how close we all are. Like Mairead and quite a few of the Leicester girls and other girls came out and supported us at Casements when we were playing the European teams. But yeah, my dad flew over to watch it, and he literally ran from the airport to the pitch. So
I'd say it's a stone's throw. Then we heard them.
All right. Heard them. Every minute of the game we heard him.
Heard him on the plane.
Peter
is one of the two national pitches. We've got Ruislip in London and Park na Heron in Birmingham. They're the two main pitches for Britain.
Okay, I didn't know that was one of the main ones. I've been to Ruislip in London. All right, Park na Heron now was a new one on me. That's when I looked that one up, that sort of appeared over.
No, so there's 3 point pitch. Well, there's 2.5 point pitches down there.
Yeah,
the 3rd one is a bit dodgy. The 3rd one's like the bounce back home. To be fair.
You know the
I
backfield
wouldn't really
in
call
Shamrocks
it a
that used to
pitch,
have
to be
pitch.
fair.
Yeah,
You
the
mean a
backfield of
play? You
Shamrocks.
could be sure the ladies are in the bog.
Yeah, the last time I played down the Shamrocks ended up being taken off by ambulance, so I don't go back down the Shamrocks anymore. So
Yeah, but that was done on purpose.
no, that was actually funnily enough because my career was it was a good long career, but I don't think I ever played. My highlight actually, now that I think of it, I scored 3-8 against Shamrocks in an under 10s game when I was I think I was 15.
We'll say nothing. Listen,
Yeah.
we have to give you an advantage somewhere.
Yeah, I think that was the only scores I got in my entire life because most of the time I just sat on the bench and that was kind of it. So yeah, I've great memories of playing against Shamrocks because it's pretty much the only memory that I'm winning an under 7s blitz in St. Lomans back during me St. Coleman's primary school days. I think that was about the height of it really. That's my
You
career.
peaked
Yeah.
too soon. Is that what happened?
I did, yeah, and then the knees came dodgy, you know yourself. No, Shamrocks, it was
All
actually
them goals.
it was the AstroTurf pitch in Shamrocks. I went to kick the ball and there was no one within 100 yards of me. I swung at the ball, my left knee came out and I was ended up in ambulance, so it was great crack. So I don't like
Yeah.
Shamrocks, yeah. I don't like any
Don't
Shamrocks.
blame Shamrocks for your miss kick. Don't do that.
Don't blame Shamrocks because I'm shy, yeah. I know, yeah. Caroline, I'm going to give you the absolute shy question, or one of the shy questions. Warwickshire's greatest, or one of its greatest writers, is the famous George Eliot, or Irish legend James Joyce.
Oh, Joyce.
Joyce, good. Have you a particular Joyce work that you want to refrain while you're here?
Not refrain. No, I enjoy Finnegan's Wake, but I work in book publishing though. So you spoke my language there. It wasn't
Lovely.
a shy question.
Well, I'll tell you what, I came out of that now fairly well, didn't I? After not knowing that.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought you
yeah.
were going to go to Shakespeare too. By the way, we have Shakespeare in
Well,
Warwickshire.
I'll ask you the next one then. William Shakespeare or Seamus Heaney?
Oh no, Seamus Heaney.
Seamus Heaney.
Not a shadow, not even a split second thought. Quicker than Mairead answering about her favourite footballer.
I misread this thing completely. I thought I was going to be asked the question, so I was like, Athlone.
No, don't worry. It's just literally a quick fire one. And then the last one I have, and then I'll ask you one other thing after. Mairead, the famous town in Warwickshire called Rugby, or Rugby apparently started its days, or the GAA in general.
Gee.
Yeah, she looks like Kerry woman's offended when you ask her that, definitely, yeah.
What you were talking about there? You're making no sense.
She was disgusted.
Yeah, she was disgusted. She's like, what is this foreign sport that
Are
you're
you
asking me
confused?
about? What is this thing that you're asking me about, for feck's sake? Jem, I'll ask you the last one, or maybe I should ask Caroline, since she's the literary person, perhaps we should say.
Yeah, don't ask me literary.
Okay, you can choose Caroline or Gemma between Anne Hathaway, who was Shakespeare's wife, or Anne Hathaway, the good-looking actress.
Anne Hathaway, the good-looking actress. There you go.
It's like for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll take that. I have to ask as well for all the clubs just to try and promote a little bit. Where can your jerseys and gear and stuff be bought?
To be fair, we all the clubs, I think nearly, but Casements do in the county have the O'Neill's club page.
Okay, yeah. I've been through a few. There's a few clubs who are O'Neill's, Masita. I've had a few others, and then a few clubs who've gone rogue and gone on their own. So, Mairead, what's the situation? Are you on O'Neill's as well then? Or?
Yeah, we just joined O'Neill's actually. Yeah, we've got O'Neill's kit now.
Yeah, typically Kerry people wanting to go out on their own and then realising they can't yet.
You know, the whole club isn't Kerry. I have to mix it up with a few others here.
I know, yeah. You don't want to know. I can tell by you. You've no interest in bringing in the rest of them. You're like, just bring in the Kerry team.
Club in Antrim or somewhere, but trying to get the kit over was just a nightmare.
One of those foreign counties, like not Kerry. Yeah, I hate those other counties. Yeah. And is there anyone, Gemma, you want to say hello to before I let you guys go over here? So apart from the Owlad, and I'll say Barry Kelly is just there. Shawnee's out in the green.
Just tell Barry I said hello. No, Jesus, just everyone back home. Yes, I think we just want to say hello to everyone because you just don't. We just want to go home. I think I probably speak on behalf of all of these. I just want to go home. Like, as much as they all annoy the hell out of me, I'd love to just see them just for a minute.
Yeah.
So like my granny, my mum and dad, brother and sister, my aunties, everyone. Geez, I feel like I'm on the Late Late Show. I just want to give a shout.
Yeah. And there's 2 tickets for everyone who's been mentioned here by Gemma. It's on the next show, yeah.
The loaf of bread
right there,
yeah. Hopefully when this goes out, because as I said, like it started out with 10 clubs, it's now 50. It seems to be growing every day. So I don't know where it was meant to be one episode a week, and now it has to be two. Otherwise, I'll be doing this. It'll go on till 2024. Like, so 2 a week will still bring me up to Christmas. So I don't actually know where anybody is on the list at the moment. So by the time this goes out, hopefully you'll have got home, and we might have a picture of Shamrocks or something where we can say we've actually met face to face, and you can be the first person that we can meet face to face. Because even Barry came on this, and Barry lives there, but we couldn't do it face to face, so we had to Zoom.
Listen, you tell me, and I'll be straight down there, and we'll avoid the AstroTurf just in case. And if this does come out Christmas, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, I had a feeling there had to be something out of you before this finished. Like, Merry Christmas, everyone. It's fucking
and a Happy New Year.
The 21st of May, and just wishing everyone a Happy Christmas. Caroline, is there anyone back in Maher or Clune or anywhere up that part you want to say hello to?
Oh, a bit like Gemma, them all. I was like, if she gets too emotional there talking about going home now, I'll have to hang up before I cry. It's been a very long year, hasn't it? But look, the mommy, the daddy. It's hard when you have the kids here too. I've got my parents' only grandkids here. And they haven't seen them now in over a year. So everybody at home. Hopefully it won't be too long.
Fingers crossed you'll be listening to this, hopefully sitting in Maher and Clune together. So
I have my ears closed. I don't need to hear these lovely dulcet tones going.
Maybe they can listen to it while you're drinking Prosecco in the corner and Jaeger bombs and whatever else it is. Jaeger bombs. Yeah. And Mairead, is there anyone in Kerry that you haven't given out about yet? Or?
So they're all back home, unfortunately. Yeah, they're all there. The same. We're all in the same boat. The whole family are at home. So just once we get home, I think now that's all we're waiting for now. I'm hoping next month, June. I'm hoping that's when things might lift and we can actually go home.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the match next Sunday. Oh, it'd be great to go home and see how that goes.
The 20th anniversary, is it? The 20th anniversary of Semple Stadium. Oh, her hero, actually. 20th anniversary of her hero's greatest point, isn't it? Your hero.
That's that's not 20 years ago.
20 years, the anniversary, yeah.
Gosh. Do you know what? Sometimes the girls would be slagging me for being so old in the team, and sometimes there's things worth it, because I remember watching that point.
So do I remember it as well.
Why?
No, I was only 14, but Gemma was probably
just about... I don't remember it.
Yeah, because Gemma probably was only born, I'd say, yeah.
20 years ago.
20 years.
Well over 14.
Sorry, Mairead. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to rub us in.
I was only 16. Not too bad.
Okay, you're grand. I was only 14, so it's fine. You're grand.
I was 11.
Okay. Well, look, you're not too bad. So, geez, you're all right. So, yeah. Look, lads, I'm going to let you go and just say huge thanks for coming on, and I'll keep in touch. But look, I'll chat to you again, lads, and thanks so much for coming on, and it's been a pleasure. And look, I'll give you a shout when this is going out in Christmas, whenever Gemma wants it out, to be honest.
Happy Christmas,
everyone.
Yeah. Happy Christmas, everyone. Yeah. Right, lads. Look, I'll talk to you after. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Mind yourselves.
Thanks very much, girls. Take care, girls.
Talk to you after. Good luck. Good luck. Bye. Coming up the next day on the Loaf of Bread GAA Global, we cut into our next slice.
Yeah, he said to him, "Do you want to get involved?" And Dante was like, "I'm all over this. This is fantastic." And we had Antoine Russell, which is a very obscure footballer. He was down at the last game. He used to be striker for the Bermuda national team, and I think he's like the 10th top striker for the national team. So it's the equivalent of us having, I don't know, Johnny Walters down for Raheny.
Nothing wrong with Johnny Walters. Johnny Walters is great man for missing 3 penalties as well. So.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Swan Russell either, mate. You know?
Oh, I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, that's class. I can't believe. I didn't expect coming on chat Bermuda GA that I was talking about one of Sligo Rovers' more recent kind of heroes in some ways. Yeah, superstars. Yeah, that's class. Yeah. I say a big thanks to Caroline, Mairead, and Gemma, and make my way to the next destination. And on Slice 26, I fly from the British flag in the UK to a flag that contains the British flag in the Atlantic Ocean, as I head to the beautiful Bermuda. It is here I chat with Raheny native Ronan and learn all about Bermuda GA and how it has evolved from the mid-2000s, when my sister-in-law was among the original founders. I chat with Ronan and how the small island has grown the game, looking for friendships and rivalries in the GA world, playing GA in a country that is barely a mile wide in some parts, competing against the rugby sevens and cricket, Ronan's dad as a referee, and of course the key questions like choosing between Guinness or the famous Bermuda rum, Horseshoe Beach or the Irish beaches, and finding out whether Bermuda soccer legend Sean Goater really is the GOAT. That's next Thursday morning from 9 AM as I continue the journey with 2 slices a week. I'll see you at the arrivals hall, but until then, check out the various clubs on the Instagram page and see all the amazing work they do and some of the nicest GAA gear going. Find the podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter and on TikTok. Email loafofbreadpod@gmail.com or just simply hit the follow button and spread the word of the Loaf of Bread GAA pod across the globe. Slánagi.